What happens is I get up on stage and I drink my amazing imported Japanese mineral water, spring, whatever hell. And Foxmore plays. Typically, he knows what stories I'm going to tell. Actually, not really, because I do tend to mix it up. How many people here are actual members of, okay, how many people here do not self-identify as members of the furry family? Oh, that's wonderful. I love having new folk out here. Furry fandom is wonderful. Just like a furry convention is exactly like youmacon, except fewer Narutos, more badgers. That's pretty much it. But we are a very imaginative lot. We've got one fellow, his name is Easy Wolf. He is a Dutchman, and you can recognize a Dutchman because they are all this big. Really, there are no short Dutch people. It's an evolutionary thing. If the dike breaks, they'll all be. But it's true. Easy Wolf invented what's called the Easy Cool Down Vest, which is a cooling vest that can be worn underneath a costume. I don't know if you know about this, Fox, but he has actually started selling them to Disney and Universal. So he's like the official supplier of cooling vests, and he's a furry. It's like, dude, wow.
Yeah, we're getting into Disney everywhere.
It's great. Disney finally realized that furries were their target audience. This movie Zootopia came out, and the first thing they did was they had a commercial where they said, anthropomorphic. I said, that's our word. I wish Easy Wolf was here because the only accent that's cooler than Fox's is the Dutch accent. And especially when it's coming from like ceiling level. I am Dutch, I'm Easy Wolf. Easy Wolf also goes to Eurofurence. And it was very, very useful this year because the German summer can get extremely hot. And the air conditioning system at the Estel House in Berlin, where Eurofurence is held, caught fire. I'm not making that up. The air conditioning system caught fire. It was overheated, you might say. So it was awfully, awfully hot in there. Thank you. So I cut a deal with Easy Wolf. I said, if you give me one of your easy cool down vests, I'll like walk around and market it for you. So he gave me one. And I realized not only can I market it for him, but I could raise some money for charity. Furries love raising money for charity. It's our favorite thing in the world. I would go up to people and they look like they're about to suffer heat stroke and they got sweat pouring down their face. And I'd look at them and I'd say, for €5, I'll give you a hug. I need like 85 euros in the first half hour, just hugging people. They're like, oh, you're so cold. There is a drop down on Fur Affinity for that anyway.
Don't go to that one.
No, don't go to that one. Okay, let's get started. A little bit late, but whatever the hell. I run a furry convention, if you couldn't tell. It's true. I am a convention organizer, and you can tell by this. I'm actually 23 years old. I run Athrocon in Pittsburgh. Every once in a while, something happens at a convention that makes you wonder, why do I keep living? Because you want everybody to have fun. You want everybody to have a good time. You want everybody to be safe. And then things happen. Shall I tell you a story?
Yes.
It's almost been 2 years. It's almost legal to tell the story. I've been telling you. There's a unspoken, actually it's a spoken agreement among convention chairs. You don't publicly tell horror stories until 2 years have passed, but this one was just too good. Pittsburgh is a wonderful city. They took to furry fandom right away, and they actually provide police officers, both city police and county police officers, to hang out at the convention just to keep order and make sure everybody's safe. It's not a case of these cops are showing up to I am the man, I am a cop. I have found out the cops sometimes get into knockdown, drag-em-out fights to see who gets to have the duty. because they're there with they bring their kids along and they got their cameras. They love doing it. One of our favorite police officers, retiring this year, Deputy Bill Kisner. He is an African-American gentleman. He is an ideal size for law enforcement. Bill is like from here on. He is he is a very substantial man, and I think he has like 0.025% body fat. If you've ever seen a football, all the linebackers lined up, all together, that's Bill. Now, he is perfect because he's lovable, he's friendly, the furries love him, they don't see him as a cop, they see him as one of us. It's also very useful because if the cops know your group, they know when to take somebody downtown and when to say, all right, take them upstairs, let them sleep it off. That's very useful. Well, an individual showed up, and it's very difficult to tell this story because in the modern day, it's easy to inadvertently offend somebody, and I don't want to do it. I will apologize in advance. I am an old man. We're still learning these things, guys in my generation. An individual showed up who, as near as we can tell, was a man in transition, who hadn't gotten very far. He was about Bill's size, big, huge linebacker guy with knuckles that dragged on the floor, and very hairy nostrils, I'm told, for whatever reason. But had the most exquisite red dress on and a very, very lovely wig. Well, this individual also had been, we don't know for certain, but I will say she. I will use the female pronouns because I think that is what this person would prefer. So out of respect. She had apparently gotten very, very high on something. And she was wandering around and she was muttering to herself and starting to get very, very agitated. And Bill took notice. And he did exactly what I would expect him to do. Now, I have read his official report. I have read my securities report. I know that I am going to give you an accurate representation of what happened. Bill went up, and I know the man. He said, "Beg your pardon, miss, you seem to be very upset about something. Is there any way I can help?" And she spun around, and she shouted at him, "Is anybody here under 18? No, dear. She shouted to him a very unkind thing that brought into attention his African-American heritage. That's when Bill said, "Okay, I'm afraid we've just crossed into the disorderly conduct category. Would you be good enough maybe to turn around, put your hands behind your back?" Well, this individual jumped him. They started wrestling around on the ground, and you see, I was not there, but I picture almost like this Wile E. Coyote thing, this big cloud with fists coming out of it. My security ran in, hotel security ran in. From this waving cloud of flying fists came a voice that said, "So that's what pepper spray smells like." Now, it was funny from over here until this person started grabbing for Bill's gun. At that point, it wasn't funny anymore, and at that point, pretty much everybody dogpiled her. What happened next is still a matter of contention. I have several witnesses who tell different versions of the story. I opt to tell you the version of the story I find most entertaining. One of my security people ran up to help, and while this tussle, this grand war was going on, this individual's artificial breasts flew out and landed in my security person's hands.